Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Sunday, August 27th, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 rundown best bet, you can find those with the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Sunday in Major League Baseball. First up, the Los Angeles Angels taking on the New York Mets. We're going to see David Peterson and Griffin Canning on the mound in this one. You guys know that I don't back David Peterson too often, but I got to say, at Citi Field this season at home, he's been solid with a 2.88 ERA in 34 1/3 innings, 35 strikeouts. You know, the big concern with Peterson's always the control. He usually walks a lot of batters, sometimes misses inside the zone as well, giving up some sharp contact. But if he can limit the walks in this game, I think he'll put together a good outing against an Angels team that in the last month is 20th in baseball in team OPS against lefties, 26th in isolated power. They have a pretty steep strikeout rate of 24.4%. And the big thing, a low walk percentage at 6.3%. Looks like a good matchup for David Peterson. I think the Mets back him up offensively against Griffin Canning, who's now got an ERA above 4.6 on the season. His last game, he only went 3 1/3 against the Rays. He's been featured mostly out of the bullpen his last couple of appearances, but I don't really trust him here. He gives up a lot of sharp contact. He's given up at least one home run in 4 of his last 5 starts. Give me the Mets here on the money line. In our next game is the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Drew Rom and Aaron Nola are your starters. Rom's first start this year was not a good one. 3 2/3 innings, 8 base hits, 8 total runs, 6 of those were earned, 4 walks and a home run in an 11-1 Pirates win. It's a tough matchup here against the Phillies, and Aaron Nola on the other side, even though it's been a disappointing season in terms of his standards, we expect him to be an ace-level starter in the Phillies rotation. He's got that ERA of 4.5 on the year. I still think he's the much better option. He's coming off a good outing against the Giants where he went 7 innings, a 2-run ball in that 10-4 Phillies win. Give me the Phillies here on the run line and the money line in this one. Next up, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Noah Syndergaard and Yusei Kikuchi are your projected starters. Yusei Kikuchi, a lefty, facing a Guardians team that we know has really struggled against lefties this season. In the last month, we saw them get no hit by Framber Valdez. I think Kikuchi, who's been in really good form, has been honestly one of the better starting pitchers in the second half of the season. I think he pitches well here. His last game wasn't his best against the Orioles. It was still a 6-3 Blue Jays win, and he went 4 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs with 6 strikeouts. But that's a Baltimore Orioles team. It's hit lefties very well this year. You're not facing that in the Guardians. I think Kikuchi puts together a quality start. On the other side, Noah Syndergaard already faced this Blue Jays lineup once. He actually pitched pretty well in that game. I got to give him credit. He was able to miss some bats in that one, but overall, he still has a very steep expected ERA, and current ERA gives him a lot of sharp contact. And even though he missed a lot of bats in that one start against Toronto, overall this season, only 53 strikeouts and 82 2/3 innings. Give me the Blue Jays here on the run line at Rogers Center. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Detroit Tigers. Justin Verlander and Alex Faedo are your starters. We took Detroit in the first game of this series. I thought they were pretty undervalued in that one. I see the same thing in this matchup. I know Justin Verlander, a very good starting pitching option, coming off a great game against the Red Sox, but before that game, he was struggling a bit against the Marlins and Angels, going 11 innings, giving up 15 base hits, 7 earned runs, 8 total runs, a home run to go with it. So it's kind of been inconsistent numbers from Verlander in his first 4 starts back with the Astros. Faedo, I think, is better than his current ERA. I also think he's in really good form. His last 2 games, 5 innings of shutout ball against the Twins with 6 strikeouts, and then 6 innings of 2 earned run ball against the Cubs, a team that crushes righties in the last month. The Astros, they're not hitting righties very well. They're 20th in OPS, 24th in ISO in the last 30 days against right-handed pitchers. I like Faedo in this matchup. I like the price we're getting with Detroit, more importantly. Give me Detroit here plus the 1.5 and on the money line. In our next game, it's an AL East battle between the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. Carlos Rodon and Zach Littell are your starters. Zach Littell's actually a solid option in this Rays rotation. He's 2-4 with a 4.27 ERA, but his xFIP is below 4. And I do think against the Yankees team, it just hasn't been great against righties this year. Littell can put together 5, maybe 6 good innings. Carlos Rodon, the Rays have hit righties better than lefties in the last month, but Rodon has just not had a good year at all. An ERA above 6. His last game against the Nationals was solid, 6 innings, 1 run, but he gave up a home run. Only had 1 strikeout in those 6 innings, and it was still a 2-1 Yankees loss. The Yankees have, in fact, lost 4 of the last 5 starts for Rodon, including a game against these Tampa Bay Rays, where Rodon, in 4 innings of work, gave up 4 earned runs and 2 home runs in a 5-2 Rays win. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays here on the money line at Tropicana Field. Next up, it's the Oakland Athletics taking on the Chicago White Sox. Paul Blackburn and Mike Clevenger are your starters. I say, why not take another shot with the Oakland A's here at plus money? I mean, the first two games of this series, 2 wins and 20 runs combined from Oakland. We'll have to see what the final score is for Saturday evening's game. But, Oakland in the last month has much better numbers offensively against righties than the White Sox do, including top 10 in baseball in isolated power against righties. Clevenger, probably one of the better options in this White Sox rotation this season, but coming off a rough start against the Mariners where he gave up 4 earned runs. And, the White Sox are 1-3 in his last 4 starts. Paul Blackburn, I think, is similarly one of the better options in the A's rotation. I think he puts together a good outing. Give me the Oakland A's here on the money line at plus money. Next up, the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Boston Red Sox. No official starter for LA, but we should see Tanner Houck for the home team. Now, Houck, I think, is better than his current ERA, but he wasn't sharp in his last game against the Astros, his first start back from the injury. Gave up 3 runs and a home run in 5 innings of work in that 7-3 loss. And overall this season, he has not been good at Fenway Park. 5.75 ERA in 36 innings of work against a very tough lineup. I just don't think it's going to be a great game for Houck or this Red Sox bullpen. I'll lean towards the Dodgers here on the road. On the money line, we'll see who the official starter is for LA. I think the Dodgers take this one. Next up, we see the San Diego Padres taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. We're going to see Michael Wacha and Adrian Hauser on the mound in this one. For the most part, I think this line is right where it needs to be with the Padres as slight favorites. And that's exactly what I think. I'll lean towards the Padres. I don't think there's a ton of value either way, but I do think Michael Wacha is the better option on the mound in his first 2 starts back from injury. 10 1/3 innings against the Orioles and Marlins, 2 solid teams, 2 winning teams. 1 earned run combined, 12 strikeouts in 2 Padres wins and run line covers. So, Adrian Hauser's been decent as of late, but I still think Wacha is the better option. Both of these bullpens pretty similar in the last 30 days. I think the Padres have the slightly better numbers offensively against righties, so I'll lean towards San Diego at that solid price. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Javier Assad and Bailey Falter are your starters. Now, originally, Javier Assad was supposed to go on Saturday, but he's moved to Sunday. And I mentioned that he's got decent numbers on paper right now, but the expected numbers aren't great. This Pirates team is hit righties pretty well in the last month, and Bailey Falter's coming off back-to-back really good outings, including his first win of the season. He was 0-7 before grabbing the W in his last game. The Cubs have crushed righties. They've been decent against lefties in the last month, but I think it's a better matchup for Bailey Falter. I'm going to take the plus money here with the home team and the Pittsburgh Pirates on the money line. Next up, the Texas Rangers taking on the Minnesota Twins. Jordan Montgomery and Bailey Ober are your starters. I know the Rangers are tough to back right now on the road. I mean, overall this season, a below 500 record away from Globe Life Field. But even though they're not playing great baseball, Jordan Montgomery is pitching great baseball. I mean, his first 4 starts as a Ranger, all quality starts. He gave up 2 earned runs or fewer in all those games. Good strikeout numbers. His control was there. No home runs allowed in his last 2 starts. He's in really good form. Some of the best pitching we've seen in his career. And Bailey Ober, we've talked about how he doesn't really walk a lot of batters. His control is good, but his last 2 starts, 6 walks combined in 10 innings of work. Not what you want to see from Ober, who is known for throwing strikes, and he's still given up 2 home runs in those 2 games. So, I'm worried about him right now. I think the Rangers are a tough lineup to face as a righty. Give me the Texas Rangers on the money line on the road. Next up, the Miami Marlins hosting the Washington Nationals. Trevor Williams for Washington, no official starter for the Fish. I'll lean towards the Nationals here. I mean, this has been a very profitable underdog on the road this season, where overall this year on the road, they're 31-33, but you got to remember, they're getting big plus money prices similar to a game like this, basically almost every road game this year. So that's why Washington, even though they're well below 500 and, not in the playoff race, they've still been one of the more profitable teams in the MLB this season. Trevor Williams, not my favorite starter back, but I do say, he was struggling. He bounced back his last game, a really sharp outing against the Philadelphia Phillies, 6 innings of shutout ball with 4 strikeouts in the end and a 4-3 Nationals win. The Nationals are now 3-2 in his last 5 starts. Give me Washington here at the plus money price on the money line. In our next game, it's the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to see Graham Ashcraft and Slade Cecconi on the mound in this one. I do think I was a little bit concerned with Graham Ashcraft giving up 3 home runs in his last start, but he still put together a good outing, giving up 3 runs in 7 innings with 10 strikeouts and a 4-3 Reds win. And overall, in the second half of the season, he has been much sharper. He's given up 3 earned runs or fewer his last 5 games and going deep into ball games. His last 4 starts, at least 7 innings of work, which is huge for this Reds team because their bullpen hasn't been the best in the last month, at least expected number-wise. So that's important for Graham Ashcraft. Slade Cecconi, I think, has got a lot of potential, but right now, 2.93 sub-3 ERA, but a 5.62 expected ERA and 5.31 xFIP really concerned me. I do think the Reds get to them. They're playing good ball against right-handed pitching. Give me the Cincinnati Reds here on the money line on the road. Next up, the Kansas City Royals taking on the Seattle Mariners. We're going to see Luis Castillo for Seattle. No official starter for KC. I'm going to take the Mariners here on the run line. Not my favorite game on the board, but Castillo has been good at T-Mobile Park this season with a sub-3 ERA. Not too easy of a matchup for him. I mean, he just faced this Royals lineup not too long ago, and the Royals have good numbers against righties, but the Royals, if they're going with a bullpen game, we know this bullpen has not been very good this season. In the last month, an ERA above 5 with the 4th worst Sierra in the league. So Seattle, a very good lineup right now, should be able to get to him for a few runs, enough to win this game and cover the run line in the end. So give me Seattle here laying the 1.5 runs. Next up, it's the Colorado Rockies taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Tie block for Colorado, no official starter for Baltimore. There's a few games for Sunday's card where we just don't have a lot of information. This is one of them. So I'll lean towards the Orioles here on the run line. We can expect them to be pretty big favorites at home. Ty Block, I think, is a decent option in this Rockies rotation, but he has a really tough matchup here against a team that hits lefties very well. And, the bullpen has not been great for Colorado in the last month or so, ERA-wise or expected number-wise. Block in the last 4 starts, the Rockies are 0-4 in those games, and in 3 of those 4, they lost by more than 2 runs. So give me the Baltimore Orioles here, laying the 1.5 runs in a lean. And that's it. Those are the games for Sunday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bet, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.